My name is Manish and I'm your instructor on certificate course on the cost control. So in this course we will be learning about the basic fundamentals of what is cost control and how we do the process of cost control. I will not teach you all the specific cost control strategies because that depends on the individual case, your organization, your policy process. I will teach you the fundamentals and then so that you can understand if your organization cost is high, where is it high and what you should do about it. So I will teach you the strategies how to find out your cost is high. So where is it and what is the reason for it. After the course, you will be able to understand why your cost is high and how to identify the reasons of the high cost. So not only from looking at the reports, but also from the process. Because sometimes everything else is okay, but the process of recording or process of receiving the items is not proper. That may be incurring the cost. So let's look at some of the fundamental terms first. Sales concepts. We will analyze the sales in different formats. We can do the menu engineering analysis. We can measure the sales by per person, per table, or for each item. So categorically, we identify sales by type. So in F&B, in restaurants, what are the three different type of sales that we have? We sell food, we sell beverage, we sell tobacco sometimes. In the food also you can split the food into different types. You can have vegetarian food, you can have non-vegetarian food, right? In non-vegetarian food you can split further. One is meat, another is seafood, right? So that's sales by type of the food what you are selling. And then type is also you can put into by cuisine, correct? You can say it's a Chinese food, you are selling Indian food, you are selling Myanmar food, you are selling Japanese food. You can also segregate by the meal period. You are selling the breakfast items, right? You can sell. You are selling the soups. You are selling the main course. You are selling appetizers. You are selling desserts, or you are selling salads. So the type can be different type of how you want to analyze the sales. So first thing is you need to understand how to segregate the sales. We use all type. We use different reports to understand the sales. So we understand the sales by meal period, right? How much we sell in breakfast, how much we sell in the lunch, how much do we sell in the dinner. Then we split the sales by type. What kind of soup we are selling, how much we are selling, what is our contribution for sales, salad, appetizer, main course, desserts. So we do different organizations, and then by category, right? And then you are doing per person. So sales by per person means if let's say you have three servers, so who is doing the most sale? Because all of them are going to take the orders, correct? So you want to understand who is better sales person, who is able to sell more beverages, who is able to sell the high cost food items. In the food item you have different type of menu, right? You have cheaper ones, you have expensive ones, you have imported food items, and you have local food items. So when we are trying to understand, what we are trying to understand sales per person is who is able to sell the premium food, so that we can reward them and we can train the other peoples who are not able to sell the premium foods. So cost control is not only about controlling the cost, it's also understanding your sales and how you can increase the sales. For example, just say about 35, right? Or you can say average 30%. So it's only 30%. So if your profit is 100%, it's only 30% of the profit, maybe a very small portion will come from cost saving. How much cost you can save? Maybe 2%, 3%, 4%, right? Not more than that. Otherwise, the food quality will start suffering, right? Or the value of the food will continue to increase, the customer will not buy. The majority of the profit contribution will come from the sales. If you are able to sell higher, even though your cost is high, also doesn't matter. And then some cost concepts. So what is the cost percentage? You all know your cost percentage. You already told me, right? 20%, 30%, 35%. So whenever we are referring food cost, we are always referring by cost percentage. We never refer. Nobody told me my cost is $35 or $100 or $110, right? Everybody told percentage, 25%, 30% is always percentage because it's an average. Then you have fixed and variable cost. Mostly we will be dealing with the variable cost, but there are certain things which are fixed. When you are preparing a set menu or when you are setting up a buffet, there is some portion which is fixed because you have to serve a minimum number of peoples, right? If let's say you are setting up a buffet for 30 peoples, so 30 people's food is there. Even if you have only 10 people's, you have 5 people's eating the same buffet, the food cost will remain the same. It is not changing because you already set up the buffet cost, correct? But additional cost, if let's say you set up for 30 people's, if 31 come, is there any extra cost? There's not much of extra cost, right? Because you already, when you are setting up the buffet for 30 people's, you are ideally making for 30 to 35. So if there is one person or two persons, you don't need to make extra food because the food is already there, right? So extra for buffet especially, there may be a very small variable cost, very small incremental cost. So the fixed cost and variable cost means whatever item is fixed. It does not change with the sales is fixed. Whatever need to change as per the new additional income is called variable cost. Most of the food and beverage cost is variable. It's not fixed. But some part like buffet cost, like set menu, they are fixed to an extent. To some extent they are fixed and the rest they are variable. It depends on the volume. Then you have standard cost. So what do you understand by standard cost? Standard cost means the standard which you have defined in your recipe. How much the cost should be. When you make a menu, when you prepare a design or recipe, you have you have certain cost in your mind, right? When you set up the price, you say, okay, this vegetarian food, maybe let's say fried rice, is gonna cost me $2 because I buy rice from the market, I buy vegetables, I buy oil, some cost is there, some other garnish, everything together is $2, and I will sell it for 5. So the two is your standard cost. But when you actually go to the market after 2 months, after 3 months, the price of rice is changed. Price of the vegetables which you are supposed to use is changed. Or maybe if you are using some imported chicken or put into the rice, then it's also the price also can change. So that is your actual cost. But your standard cost will remain the same. You are not changing your standard cost all the time. But you need to update your cost in every 6 months, every 3 months. You need to see the market, what is the market price, and should I adjust my standard cost? I should not adjust my standard cost. Whenever you are doing the pricing, it's always based on standard cost. It's never based on actual cost. Actual cost can be different from the standard cost, right? So what are the reasons? One reason I already told you, the change of price can be the actual cost and the standard cost can be different because of the price change. What are the other things that can make standard cost different from the actual cost? Use of extra rice, right? Maybe when you are making a fried rice, the chef is not measuring in the weighing scale, right? Maybe you put a standard cost of 250 grams of rice, but when you are actually making it, you are just taking because you are in a because chef is in a hurry, right? So he will just take whatever is in his hands by his judgment, by his estimate. He can take 250, he can take 280, or maybe only 200. If we take more than the standard, the portion, if we take more than standard, the cost will be higher. If we take less than the standard, cost will be lower. So it depends on the how much he actually use.